In this podcast episode, Lex Fridman engages in a conversation with Javier Milei, the President of Argentina. Milei, a self-described libertarian anarcho-capitalist, shares his views on economic freedom, government corruption, and the transformative policies he has implemented since taking office. Milei begins by discussing his understanding of freedom, particularly economic freedom, which he first grasped during his studies in economics. He highlights the historical context of economic growth, noting that per capita GDP remained stagnant for centuries until around 1800, when it began to rise sharply. This growth, he argues, is linked to the principles of freedom and the market economy. Milei emphasizes that the increase in living standards and the reduction of extreme poverty are testaments to the power of free markets. Milei's journey into the world of economics was significantly influenced by the Austrian School of Economics, particularly the works of thinkers like Murray Rothbard and Ludwig von Mises. He recounts how reading Rothbard's article on monopoly and competition challenged his previous understanding of market structures. This revelation led him to explore the Austrian school more deeply, ultimately shaping his economic philosophy and political ideology. For Milei, the fight for freedom is not just an economic issue. It is a fundamental human right that underpins the well-being of society. Milei identifies as an anarcho-capitalist, advocating for minimal government intervention in the economy. He believes that the ideal society is one where individuals are free to pursue their own interests without state interference. However, he acknowledges the practical limitations of this ideal and describes himself as a minarchist in practice, advocating for a significantly reduced state size. His administration has focused on deregulation and structural reforms aimed at reducing the fiscal deficit and promoting economic growth. The president's approach to governance is characterized by a commitment to dismantling the corrupt bureaucratic structures that have plagued Argentina for decades. He argues that the size of the state is directly correlated with the level of corruption, and by reducing the state's footprint, he aims to create a more transparent and efficient government. Milei's vision for Argentina includes a future where economic freedom flourishes, leading to increased prosperity and reduced poverty. Since taking office, Milei has implemented a series of radical economic reforms aimed at stabilizing Argentina's economy, which was on the brink of hyperinflation when he assumed the presidency. He describes the dire economic situation he inherited, including a staggering inflation rate of 1% per day and a fiscal deficit of 15% of GDP. Milei's administration has achieved Argentina's first fiscal surplus in 16 years, a remarkable turnaround that he attributes to his commitment to free market principles. Milei's reforms have included cutting the number of government ministries, laying off thousands of civil servants, and eliminating economic subsidies. He emphasizes that these measures were necessary to restore fiscal balance and reduce inflation. The results have been significant, with inflation rates dropping dramatically and economic activity beginning to recover. Milei believes that these reforms will ultimately lead to a more prosperous Argentina, with the potential to double the country's GDP per capita in the coming years. A central theme of Milei's presidency is the fight against government corruption. He argues that corruption is deeply entrenched in Argentina's political system and that it has been a major obstacle to economic growth and social progress. Milei's administration has taken a hard stance against corrupt practices, implementing measures to eliminate intermediaries who exploit social welfare programs for personal gain. Milei recounts specific actions taken to combat corruption, such as dismantling the poverty managers who siphoned off funds intended for the poor. He believes that by increasing transparency and accountability in government, he can restore public trust and create a more equitable society. The president's commitment to fighting corruption has garnered both support and criticism, as many entrenched interests resist his efforts to reform the system. Milei's relationship with the media is complex, as he often finds himself at odds with journalists who criticize his policies and approach. He argues that much of the mainstream media in Argentina is biased and serves the interests of the political establishment. He believes that the media's portrayal of his administration is often distorted, leading to a public perception that does not reflect the reality of his reforms. He expresses admiration for social media platforms, particularly X, as tools for free expression and a means to bypass traditional media gatekeepers. Milei sees the rise of social media as a way to democratize information and empower individuals to share their perspectives without censorship. This shift, he argues, is crucial for fostering a more informed and engaged citizenry. Milei emphasizes the importance of the cultural battle in the fight for freedom and economic prosperity. He believes that socialism has infiltrated various aspects of society, including education and media, and that this cultural shift has contributed to the erosion of individual liberties. He argues that to achieve lasting change, it is essential to confront these cultural narratives and promote the values of capitalism and individualism. He draws parallels between the historical struggles for freedom and the current fight against cultural Marxism. Milei believes that the left has successfully reframed the discussion around class struggle, shifting it to issues of identity and social justice. He contends that this shift has created divisions within society and undermined the principles of equality and freedom that liberals have long championed. As president, Milei recognizes the weight of leadership and the responsibility that comes with it. He draws on his experiences as a goalkeeper, where the pressure to perform is immense, to illustrate the challenges of political leadership. Milei believes that effective leaders must be willing to make tough decisions and stand firm in their convictions, even in the face of adversity. Milei's leadership style is characterized by a willingness to confront powerful interests and challenge the status quo. He acknowledges that this approach has made him a target for criticism, but he remains undeterred in his mission to transform Argentina. For Milei, true leadership involves not only making difficult choices, but also inspiring others to join the fight for freedom and economic prosperity. Faith plays a significant role in Milei's life and political philosophy. He speaks about the importance of spirituality and the teachings of Judaism in guiding his actions and decisions. He believes that a strong moral foundation is essential for effective leadership and that faith can provide the strength needed to face challenges. Milei's faith also informs his views on freedom and individual rights. He argues that the principles of liberty and justice are deeply rooted in religious teachings and that a society that values these principles is more likely to thrive. By embracing his faith, he seeks to create a vision for Argentina that aligns with both economic freedom and moral integrity. Looking ahead, Milei expresses optimism about the future of Argentina. He believes that the reforms he has implemented will lay the groundwork for sustained economic growth and improved living standards. He envisions a country where individual freedoms are protected and citizens can pursue their aspirations without government interference. Milei's vision for Argentina includes a commitment to further deregulation and structural reforms. He aims to create an environment where entrepreneurship can flourish, leading to job creation and increased prosperity. By fostering a culture of innovation and competition, he believes that Argentina can reclaim its position as a leader in Latin America. As the conversation draws to a close, Milei reflects on his legacy and the impact he hopes to have on Argentina and the world. He acknowledges that the path to freedom and prosperity is fraught with challenges, but he remains steadfast in his commitment to the principles of liberty and individual rights.